Welcome back to my channel. We're gonna get right into it. If you've been on my TikTok live, y'all know that this video was long awaited, so we're just gonna get right into it. Please make sure you have a pen and a paper, but I will have everything in the description box for you. I will be doing full spectrum sea moss. There is different levels of sea moss, and this is one of the highest ones that you can get. Full spectrum sea moss is green, purple, and red. What I'm showing you right here is everything you need. Of course, you need the sea moss. We'll get into some facts about sea moss throughout the video. And then you want to make sure that you have limes. Now, in order to alkalize water, you do need key limes. But if you cannot find key limes, just go ahead and get a regular lime. The ratio is going to be for 1 key lime, you want to add 2 regular limes. Another thing you want to make sure you have is a filter. You want to make sure you have spring water. To change your filter water to spring water, you want to take 1 cup of water and you want to warm it up in the microwave for about 3 to 4 minutes. Pour that through the filter. That will create spring water. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start prepping the sea moss by breaking the seal. The moment you break the seal, you have to put it back in its habitat, which is water. Fact, your sea moss should be damp. It should not be completely dried. Right here, I'm just showing you what was in the package. This is what we are about to clean off of the sea moss. Because sea moss is born and it lives in the sea, it has a lot of debris and salt on it from the salt water. I use the 5-step cleaning process. The first 2 rinses, you just rinse it off. The next 2 rinses, you actually scrub it with the key limes. And the last time you add the water is to soak it to alkalize the water. So the first thing you're going to do, of course, is put the sea moss into a bucket. You can clean it in plastic, but it must be stored in glass. So what you're going to do is just pour that spring water up. I usually put mine up to 2 liters. As you can see the measurements on this container. And then you're just going to rinse it. So you want to just move it around like I'm doing now, really gentle the first 2 times. And as you can see, the water turned brown. That is what you do not want on the sea moss. That is what needs to be cleaned off of the sea moss. I'm leaving this in real time so you guys can see that this is not edited. You can clearly see that this sea moss is dirty. All sea moss is dirty. If you are buying sea moss from any health food stores or anything online, please make sure that they are properly cleaning the sea moss, especially for people that have shellfish allergies. Once again, we're going to repeat this process a total of 2 times. And yes, you will dump out the water. On live, it was some really crazy questions that people was asking me. But yes, you dispose of the water. Now moving along to wash number 2. Again, simply repeat the process. This part is a little bit discouraging because when you first pour the water over it, it's clear. Just like you can see here, it is clear. And a lot of people think that if the water is clear, the sea moss is clean, and that is 100% untrue. You can see it in this video as you watch me rinse this sea moss out in the clean water, and then you'll see it turn brown again. So just because the water is clear does not mean that the sea moss is clean. The next clip is just me showing you the sea moss after the second rinse. You can see that the water is still brown. The water is still dirty. We're going to move to wash number 3. Wash number 3 will be repeated 2 times. So this is wash number 3 and wash number 4. The first thing you're going to do is fill up the container to 2 liters with water. I'm showing you here, just because the water is clear does not mean that this is clean. You're going to take 1 key lime and you're going to slice it into 5 to 6 slices. After that, you're going to take the key limes, put it in the bucket, and now we are about to scrub the sea moss with the limes. What this does is remove all excess salt that is still on the sea moss. There's no need for you to go out and get any special scrubbers for sea moss. Just strictly use limes. And again, if you cannot find key limes, you can get regular limes to do this process. It is very important that you take your time when doing this. You need to make sure that you get almost every piece of the sea moss and make sure you are scrubbing it the way that I am doing here. I usually pull from the bottom of the bucket and just move the sea moss around. If you would like to get another bucket and clean it and put the clean ones in another bucket, you can do that, but I find this is just as simple and it works the best for me. You will be able to visually see the key limes and how they clean the sea moss. You will see the key limes start to disappear and it should look exactly like this. You want to use each key lime until it is completely gone. You're going to repeat the process until you use all the limes, and then you're going to dispose of the water. Yes, again, you're going to pour this water out. Again, right here, I'm just showing you what the water looks like, and now you're going to repeat that same process 1 more time. I'm just showing you right here exactly what it's starting to look like, and you can clearly see the difference from the start and to this point of the sea moss. Your sea moss should start to look very clean. You will be able to feel any grit that is still on it, whether you're wearing gloves or not, but I do recommend that you wear gloves. Right now, I'm just showing you, just dispose of the key limes. You do not need them. If you want to save these, that's fine, but this just cleans something that was in the ocean, so you might want to throw it away. Again, your sea moss should look just like this after you get done with the 4th rinse. It should be nice and clean. We're going to transfer it into another container because this is how we are going to soak the sea moss. So you're going to take 2 key limes, slice them up, and put them into the bucket and fill that bucket up with water. Double the amount of water because the sea moss needs oxygen to breathe. When it breathes, it will move upward. So what we are doing is alkalizing the water. The water that the sea moss sits in is going to be alkalized because we did it with limes. If you follow these steps, there's no need for you to go out and purchase alkaline water because you just made it. After you get the water into the container, you are just going to put a top on it and you're just going to sit it in the refrigerator. This must soak for at least 3 days and a maximum of 7 days. This is 6 ounces of full spectrum sea moss. It is very important that you make sure that this is refrigerated. Make sure you are giving the sea moss room to breathe. So now, after 5 days, this is what the sea moss is going to look like. If you have never been to the Caribbean, if you've never saw sea moss, this is exactly what it looks like when it is in the ocean. So this is why it is important to make sure that you are prepping this the correct way to bring it back to life. Now we're going to make the sea moss gel. You need to make sure you have a good blender, and you are going to gradually add the sea moss to the blender along with the water that it was sitting in because the water is alkaline water now. So these steps are really simple, really easy. Depending on what kind of blender that you have, if you have a blender that is timed, you can time it for 10 minutes and it'll stop and it'll start and it'll stop and then it'll start. If you do not have that kind of blender, then you would stop it at every 2 minutes until you get to 10 minutes. Right here, I'm just showing you to utilize the alkaline water that it was sitting in. That is going to give you the best result. Make sure you are scraping down the sea moss because once you start to blend it, it starts to break up, and you can see that right here happening. So you want to make sure that as it is blending, you add the water. You do not want to stop the blender, add the water. You want to make sure that the blender is on, and then you add the water. So again, this was 6 ounces. So I just broke it in half. I added 3 ounces and then blended that up and then added the rest of the sea moss. What you do not want to do is just put all the sea moss in a blender, no matter how good your blender is, and just blend everything up. You want to make sure it's a nice smooth consistency because it is a gel. Now this is just me showing you what it's starting to look like right before it's done. And then this is when I'm showing you what it looks like when it is turned into an actual gel. You do not have to add anything to make this a gel. You just need to make sure you are adding the alkalized water. Nothing else should be added to this to make it a gel. So in order to store it, we're going to store it in glass. Please make sure that all glass or any glass you use is sterilized. Then you're just going to make sure that you have a nice sealed top. And then you're going to make sure that you put a date on it. It can last 2 to 3 weeks in the refrigerator, depending on the temperature to your refrigerator. If you have a sub-zero refrigerator, it can last up to 4 weeks. The intake of sea moss should be no more than 2 tablespoons. That is the recommended dosage. If you have not ever taken sea moss, I recommend you start off with 1 teaspoon. If you have taken sea moss, you know you can take up to 2 tablespoons. But myself, personally, I only take 1 tablespoon because I put it on my skin as well. And that absorbs into my body that way. That's it for this video. Everything will be in the description box. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.